Welcome to the CFG Gamecast, episode number 161, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays, and we release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, Podbean, and so much more. So show us some love and do us a big favor and give us a like on Facebook and subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch or go to our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Oh, buddy. It was a long week of taking the girls to appointments and things and such. Doing a lot of stuff with my lawyer because I'm still stuck in probate for my dad's estate. Thanks, Las Vegas. So getting some headway on that
again.
No. It's just we knew that it was going to be March or April, and so I had to set up blocked accounts, which is hard when you don't have certain legal terminology normally. But I got to the point where they're saying okay, but now they're like, well, you have to set up an estate account. I don't know what the hell that is. So now I got to talk to my lawyer. I set up the blocked account, but what's an estate account? And do I set it up with this one? Or is it in my name? I don't know at this point. It's a lot of confusion. And normally Adam is on it, but work's been really busy for him and all of those things. I'm always
involved in all of this. I mean, that's
it's a family lawyer through Adam, or else I would not be able to afford this on my own. They've been really good. And every time I call State Farm, listen to me right now. Zoom me in, Smitty. Zoom me in.
I got you.
State Farm. Hi, you guys have been great. The specific branch of State Farm, you guys have been lovely. How come you guys call me and when I call you back 10 minutes later, you guys are closed? Don't do that to me, please. Thank you. That's all I ask.
Have you tried not calling at 4:59?
No, I'm calling it like 1 o'clock in the afternoon after they've called me at like 12:40. So I'm basically playing like tag with them because both properties, mine included, are under my dad's name. And they're like, oh yeah, you owe $800 for fire. I'm like, fire? I don't even have smoke alarms in my house right now. I don't want to talk about that. And they're like, it's $850 something. I'm like, that's great. How do I pay you? And I call them and it's like, you're going to the automated service. So that's funny. What else is new? Oh, I got some work done. I like to be honest. I got some filler in my lips and I got some Botox and I'm enjoying it. It doesn't look crazy. I don't look like I smashed my face into a wall, right?
Oh, look at them. Look at them lips. Look at them kisses.
I actually look like the rest of my family now, so that's good. They all have lips, and all I had was a bottom lip. So now I feel like I match my fam bam. Nice. I'm 35. I'll be 35 soon. I've waited many years, and I can do what I want. I'm an adult.
You do not have to explain yourself to anybody.
Nothing. Nope.
You know what? You have a special trait.
Why not?
You have a special trait and ability called disposable income. So
Correct.
You can definitely do whatever you want.
No, I don't. I saved up for 2 years for this. So,
but that's disposable income.
Yeah.
That's extra money that you decide to save. Yeah.
But
so
I've been hanging out and doing stuff. So I figured, if you guys are like, why do you look a little different? Because I can't raise my eyebrows at the moment. But
this all today? This no,
I got
today?
it Monday.
Yesterday, right? Oh, Monday.
Okay.
Monday.
Okay.
No, I've had all week to like not look like a crazy person, like a clown, as Smitty says,
They do. Have you ever seen those ones where like their lips are like absolutely huge? It's like, you look like a clown. Like that's what I think in my head. I don't go out and say anything. I'm not going to be mean, but like I'm thinking it in my head, like, you look like a clown. How could you possibly think that looks good? Come on.
Yeah. Well, and like, here's the thing is I do have an upper lip, but it angles down, and I wanted to see what it would look like if it wasn't angled down, and they can do that with the filler, but they can also do that permanently. And before I make something permanent, I want to make sure I like it first. You know what I'm saying? And I have to get my eyelids done already because I have excess skin. And for some people like myself, it can damage your eyesight. And that's not a cosmetic look that I'm going to get done. It's because I would like to not lose vision. I already don't have peripheral, man. I've had 4 brain surgeries. I'm good, you know?
Definitely.
Amber over on Facebook says, baboon ass lip.
Zoom me back in. Zoom me in right
now. Those are not baboon ass lips, but I know exactly what
I don't think she's talking about mine. I know she knows what I'm talking about.
That is hilarious. Hey, Lex.
Yes. Oh, please say what I'm thinking.
You know I'm not. Okay. I don't know what you're thinking. You're all over the place sometimes.
I think I know what she's thinking.
Okay. Well, first off, what I'm going to say, do you know who's going to be getting them? Who's going to be getting them those clown lips soon?
I do. His name is
the 5-star general of the itty bitty Smitty committee. I got Smitty in the 3rd seat. What's going on, my dude?
Yeah, I'm going for them baboon ass lips. That's what I'm talking about. Not a whole lot. It has been a busy week, but it was pretty solid. I know that February is about to be crazy. I'm almost finished with God of War. I am close to the end game. Davis hates me. Everybody hates me. I'm sorry. I tried.
Hey
but
guys,
it's so good. Gosh.
If you want to play while we don't have a spoiler cast, that guy. That's
Davis.
the guy.
Davis hit me up. He said I've 100%ed it. Where you at? Pretty early on here, I think.
I remember it was like 2 weeks later. It's like, okay, I beat the game. I platinumed it. Where you at?
See, I feel better. Zuzu says I haven't even started Ragnarok yet, so no, I do feel a little better.
Any better. You had a deadline.
I did have a deadline. Did we never set a deadline though?
Yes, we did. 2 different deadlines. I even extended it because how slow you were going.
He did. But other than Davis berating me, it's been a pretty solid week. Got some snapping. Worked on some. Finally got back to working on some Breath of the Wild because I know that's going to be releasing soon. I'm just, there's a lot of news. There's a lot of news in video games this week. I'm excited to get into it, start talking, having that conversation and stuff like that about all kinds of stuff that went on. So, overall solid week. Glad that it's the weekend. Ready to chill out a little bit. So, good. All in all, no complaints on my end. What about you, my friend? How was your week, brother?
Oh, it was good. I was finally finished Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
Had a nice power nap on my Twitch while I was doing it. Like a nice good 10-minute, I guess. I don't know, but it was. Yeah, I know, right? You know, I should have changed it to sleep stream or something. I don't know, but like it was. Yeah, but it was good. I finally finished it. You know what's funny? That was my first playthrough. I got all but 3 trophies. Nice. Out of it. That was like the only reason why I didn't is because I didn't do trial modes. If I did trial modes, I would have had 1 trophy left to get. And but like I did everything in that game. Like the last thing I did was fought in the ultimate weapon, the ultimate secret boss in the game, which had 50 million HP, which took me 40 minutes to fight.
That's
which is insane. Yeah, especially in a game where like it doesn't want the user to be a part of it. Because the last fight, I just put my controller down and I let the computer just take the wheel and just win it for me. I didn't do anything. So
that's crazy.
So I literally didn't finish, didn't touch a button for about almost an hour. So it was crazy, but yeah, so it was good. Other than that, it was a fun time though, I will say. Then after that, I was able to get some just finished up the interview that we did with Morgan Berry, the voice actress who does a lot of cool anime and cartoon voice actors acting, and talked to this really cool cosplayer that we're going to be releasing next week. So that's going to be very awesome. So yeah, but no, definitely enjoy myself. Now, the real question is, I don't know what to play. I don't know like where I want to like, I want to take a break from Final Fantasy for now, but then just want to play something then different. I heard what's the name of the game? Ishin, which is like a dragon, but it's feudal Japan. with all the characters and stuff that's coming out. That's the one I'm kind of really looking into to trying out. But other than that, I'm just gonna take it easy, take a good break, maybe play a little bit of Fire Emblem and stuff or something along the lines, and go from there. So
nice.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good week, pretty productive week, and go from there.
Yeah.
But I know guys, you don't want to be talking about me falling asleep while I play my RPGs on live on stream. So let's go through the normal rigmarole that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion through the previous week. The topic would or could be a game itself or something that happened in the gaming industry, and we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners and viewers on Twitch, on YouTube, on Facebook Live, to be a part of the conversation as always. So if there is something that you're wanting to chime in about any of what we're talking about, we would love for you. We suggest for you to come and type it inside the chat. We would love to talk about it amongst y'all, amongst everyone here. So let's get this party started with Smitty. What are you bringing to the table, dude?
It's me, Spricatito. Excuse me. So on the 25th here, a couple days ago, we knew that Microsoft, Xbox, and Bethesda were going to be having a developer showcase essentially. So it wasn't bad. It was pretty concise show, if I do say so myself. It lasted about an hour. Nothing really crazy. For me, it seemed more of a kind of a deeper dive into some of the games that we were expecting, and I just kind of want to go over some of those games. I wrote down notes so I wouldn't forget. First one, and this one I think not only for the kids, but I know there's.
Sorry. But before you go, how many games? Like how long was the showcase? And
it was like an hour. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games in total.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it wasn't. I mean, again, it was pretty concise. They stuck to it, and I had forgotten too that I was like, oh, maybe there'll be some news on Starfield, but I forgot that Starfield's getting its own whole separate showcase by itself. I heard
that.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Better come out this year. That's all I care about.
I mean, yeah. I mean, for me, it's and just very briefly, I and somebody said it too, but Starfield to me is they can't screw it up. It's got to be big. It's got to be big because yes, I understand that they can't screw it up. I'm saying that they cannot screw it up financially for themselves, because the last thing that they put out, again, it was what the hell was it?
Was it
Skyrim?
Elder Scrolls? Fallout 76.
Fallout 76, and that was brutal. From launch, that was brutal. It was a mess. But we later found out that they were already. It sounds like they didn't really care about Fallout 76, and they had already moved on to Starfield. So I think they realized the importance, which, again, that left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. I understand that they went back and fixed a lot of stuff and got things, better, but still, when you're doing something like that and you're treating your fans like that, nobody wants to see that. So, I'm sorry, I digress. Mm-hmm. So, to start out, we started out the show with Minecraft Legends. This seems pretty interesting to me. Again, I know there's a lot of people that play Minecraft. I'm not really big into it, even when it is like normal survival mode. I'm just like, it's not really my thing, but I'll play with my daughter. But this one, Minecraft Legends, it's got a couple of different modes. It's got a co-op campaign story mode, so you can go in with friends and play that. And it also has PvP, where you literally are basically kind of defending defending a home base, and the other person has to go in and attack. I think this is going to be pretty big. I mean, Minecraft knows how to, they know their stuff. They know what to do. They've got a huge fan base, especially with kids. So I think this looks cool all around. It looks solid. As long as those servers are good and whatnot, I think this could be a legitimate thing. Not only that, but being able to step into an actual campaign in a story. I know they had Minecraft Dungeons. I think that kind of, played around and had more of a story as opposed to just straight base Minecraft. I think they're expanding and are going deeper with Legends from what I could see. So I think a lot of people are going to enjoy that. I think it's going to be a huge player base as long as the servers are solid and everything looks good. But that one, and not only that, but also is going to be procedurally generated. So every time you go in, it is different. It's not the same. So that to me is pretty impressive as well. So that's supposed to be coming out April 18th, and it will be on Game Pass as well. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on Forza just because I'm not a big racing game fan. It looked clean. Graphics look clean. They really are going in.
It's a racing game. But it's the sixth one.
It's like the soccer games every year. It's the same thing. Same
I'm just
players.
To be fair with Forza though, they actually do take their time on them because
they absolutely. It looks absolutely stunning. Yeah,
it's not back to back. They it's usually 2 to 3 years for the next Forza to come out. To be fair, it's just okay. It's a racing game. I don't know. I mean, you can only do so much until it's because Forza 1 and 2 and 3 were really about track racing. And then they're like, okay, we're gonna make everything open world. And then now you made open world. What are you gonna do after open world? Let's put some rockets and stuff like that. Like drive against a submarine like they did in the Fast and the Furious. I don't know. See.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they've tried doing things like that, like the crew and stuff like that. Like that gives me a little more interest as opposed to just racing in tracks. I want a little story, a little meat to it other than just a hey, you can do this and see if you win or whatever. And again, I know that it's just not a game that's for me personally. I know a lot of people enjoy it, and you could really tell that they put a ton of detail into it. They go so far into depth as to dirt and mud coming up on the cars and it being so Forza Motorsport, that's coming out sometime in 2023. They did not have a set date for that yet. A surprise hot drop, Hi-Fi Rush, which Lex is going to be talking about here shortly. The art on that looked dope. It's a rhythm action game. It's free on Game Pass. It came out a couple hours after, so it's available now on Game Pass. But Hi-Fi Rush, that looked pretty dope. The art style looked really cool, and I instantly thought of Doc Limitless when I saw that. I was like, oh, you probably dig this. Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
I almost sent him a message, but I forgot.
If he doesn't already have it, I might.
He's moving.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing. That can play it.
But I was like, that's a cool game. If you're into any kind of rhythm games, and then of course it's got the action elements and killing things like on beat and stuff like that. That looks cool. But that is available now. Then obviously we got the next chapter for Elder Scrolls Online, Necrom, which I believe Lucentai had mentioned earlier. I haven't played ESO in forever, so I'm just like, meh. Wait, but it looked cool. Necrom. I believe they introduced a new class, a new playable class, Arcanus. So it's a magic class, and it looked pretty cool. I mean, it looked great. It looked great.
Elder Scrolls. Okay, so it's vampire essentially.
Huh?
It's a vampire. Like you're a vampire. You're the class Necrom.
In Elder Scrolls.
No. That's the name. That's the name of the thing. The class is Arcanus.
Oh, Arcanus. That's what
yeah. That's the class. Necrom is the title of the next expansion or whatever.
Gotcha.
However that works. I didn't even know that. Like I had thought that ESO was gonna go away years ago, but that community is very strong. I know a few people that play it. Mm-hmm. I would love to.
Small,
I had friends.
It's stable. It's small.
Yeah,
it's stable.
I had friends that played it. That's what originally got me into it, and they just stopped playing, and it felt very lonely for me. And it was hard to do things, so I just kind of stopped playing it. But I wouldn't be opposed to checking it out. But time wise, again, is such a huge factor, and you got to put a ton of time into games like that to fully get that experience and do. Yeah, definitely. Exactly. So I only have time for, and even then I barely even get time for Destiny. So it's like I'm not gonna realistically have that kind of time. And then of course the big one, Redfall. This was great. We actually got like in-game gameplay. We got to see some of the different classes. I'm not gonna lie, this got me super pumped for Redfall.
Really?
Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good. Not only that, but it's from Arcane Austin. So that's the same folks that did Deathloop. So I even saw like it definitely has, and I love the gunplay in Deathloop and just being able to go around and do things in Deathloop. So we got to see a couple of different enemy types. Them actually going in and doing stuff. This really, I felt like this developer showcase really highlighted Redfall and with it coming out. So I don't know. They say it's supposed to come out in May 2nd. They literally dropped the date of May 2nd. So we shall see. And we know that it's already gotten pushed back. It was supposed to come out late last year or sometime last year, and it didn't. It got pushed back. So hopefully they're ready. But remember too, folks, all this stuff except for Elder Scrolls Online, but probably Elder Scrolls Online too. Actually, it probably is. Is all going to be Game Pass. These are day one Game Pass. So I just want to know who's coming in and killing some vampires with me in Redfall. This got me pumped for Redfall to come out. The co-op of it, just being able to see the environment, the different types of people, different ways of being able to get around and do stuff. It looks dope. I can't deny it.
So wait,
I cannot deny it.
This looks like a Left 4 Dead like kind of situation though. Is that what that
Arcane
is?
Ass? It kind of no, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
What?
I'm sorry. I looked at chat.
What?
I can hear him chuckling in the other room, and the door is shut.
It looks like someone kind of forced you to say it in the middle of what you were trying to talk.
I didn't.
Gun to his back. Just.
I saw it. I saw it, and my mouth said Anyway.
No, does it play like it plays like Left 4 Dead, right? Like, I mean, it looks like a Left 4 Dead like kind of game.
That's kind of what it's
story driven.
No, it is story driven. It is definitely story driven. There was no friendly fire. I noticed, or at least it didn't look like there was friendly fire. But it definitely was reminiscent of a Left 4 Dead, but not so linear. It seems more open world, and different. They have different locations and different things, and you kind of have to go around and discover stuff. It would be really fun to be able to play in a group of people and go through that story. And then of course too, like who doesn't like vampires? So to be able to get vampires and get something that's a co-op, and I'm just excited to see what kind of abilities, upgrades, and things like that they have for it. But May 2nd, it may seem far that we're at the end of January, but it'll be here before we know it. So we'll see. We'll see moving forward.
We'll see if they're going to keep that date. That's a real thing. I don't know if they're going to keep the date or not, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, this is something that Microsoft should have done like a long time ago, these announcements and stuff. Then that's another thing I was going to actually bring up. Is this something that's going to be, are they going to start periodically doing these development things for these Xbox things now? Or
that's what it seems like. Because like everybody, I feel like everybody's kind of adopted that style. Nintendo started it, Sony ripped them off and started doing it. And it seems like, Xbox is just following suit. That's, people.
But like,
what?
Microsoft hasn't done anything like this in, like, Nintendo's did this, 5 years ago? They were the start of all of this. Don't get me wrong. And Sony started kind of like, it took about a year, but then they were kind of on this. But this is truly Microsoft's first time opening up their doors on what's to be expected, because no one knew what the hell was coming out for Series X or for PC or for a reason for you to buy their console system. Now this format shows that they're actually shows exactly kind of like what's coming and what's kind of what to be hyped for, I mean, it feels weird to say.
Well, not only that, but then what was really nice about it too is that we got a little more in depth. It wasn't just showing the games, but we got to have a conversation with the people that were working on it and them to basically say, here's what we love about our game, or here's what's gone into it. Here's the stories, some stories behind the games, along with the game announcements. And they kept it moving. There was no corny, hokey, like in between stuff. It felt like a good balance. Like you're saying, I'm surprised that they haven't adopted a style like this earlier. They always seem to be behind on this kind of stuff, and I don't know what it is, but like I feel like they're just perpetually playing catch up.
It feels like they're always caught with their pants down, and then they're like, we should pivot. We need to pivot, or we need to do what other people are doing. Because, dude, like, how long has the Xbox Series X been out? Like 3 years now. This is gonna be the third year, I believe. Right? 2020, the same year as the PS5.
Oh yeah, I forgot what year it was.
Yeah, so like during that time, there isn't anything that you could say. I guess what Halo would you say? Infinite Wars would be the closest thing.
What
would be? Well, I'm just saying during that time between when Sony with Xbox exclusive, I guess exclusivity or something that made you hype to get that system. Like there isn't like the game, or there wasn't like a progress report of what was coming for the system for you to be hyped for. You spent $500 on a system, and yet there's nothing out here. And I think that these games, these announcements, even though as small as they are right now and hyped as they are, I mean, it still gives you some sort of level of hype of in some sort of way. Because I mean, the big one, like you were saying, Redfall, Starfield's coming soon. And then some of the other stuff, but at least they're saying that, hey, there are games coming that's going to be specifically for the system and for PC. So stay tuned. Like, don't rule us out quite yet. That kind of thing is where I'm kind of going with. So, I mean, the only thing that kind of caught my interest out of all of this is that hi-fi game or whatever that Lex is going to talk about. But I definitely will. Well, I mean, it's a good move. I mean, this is exactly what I think Microsoft needs to do. Needs to show a little bit more transparency of the games that are coming out so people can be like, oh, okay, this is going to be tight when this comes in, instead of waiting for E3 or something big to show what games are going to be on that system.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on their announcements, Lex?
The only one that really, really spoke to me would be the Hi-Fi Rush, which I'm going to talk about. Here's the thing. It wasn't boring. It just, nothing really spoke to me on I have to play that. And I think no.
Oh. I thought you were on board for Redfall. Oh, I thought I was going to have built-in friends to play with.
I had already seen it. Here's the thing. I had already seen it. Excuse me. I like Redfall. We've talked about playing it. I was already on board for that. So when they showed it, I was like, this is information I already had. You know what I mean?
But they got deeper in, though. They got deeper in. We actually saw gameplay. We saw some classes. We saw, like, they kind of gave us a better expectation as to what the game was about and, like, how it plays.
I don't disagree. I saw it after the fact. So I didn't get to watch the whole show in its entirety. I was in the vehicle. I'd taken the girls to an appointment, and I was being fed Cheez-Its as I was scrolling and kind of watching here and there because my internet was not great where I was, and I couldn't attach to Wi-Fi. So I would get to see little clips here and there, and then it would crap out for me. So then I'd scroll through social media. I like Redfall already. You really didn't need to sell me on it. You'd already sold me on it. And I think the gameplay of it, of course I saw it after the fact, was already it cemented that I already knew I wanted to play this, and I'm excited to play it. And I have friends that are also excited to play it, and that's great. I just, maybe I'm in this weird limbo phase of just like, I don't really give a shit about anything at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we all go through that phase in life where it's like, I don't really give a shit. If it comes out, cool. If it doesn't come out, cool. Whatever. I'm going through that like teenager I don't care phase right now. I think we all go through that in life, due to many reasons and factors. Did it blow my mind? No. Did it bore me to death like some shows have in the past? Also, no. I thought it was a good show. Again, we've discussed that Xbox does not have exclusives. And so I've never felt compelled to buy an Xbox system because I either have PC or I have a PlayStation and I can play both. You know what I mean? They've never really won me over. Even with the Halo series, it was like, well, my friends are LAN partying and I can just go over there, hang out and play some games and then go home and play my PlayStation. Great, right? It's a win-win for me no matter what I do. Again, it wasn't boring, but it also didn't wow me. I was already in for Redfall. If I hadn't had seen previously for Redfall, I think I would have been wowed, right?
Yeah.
But I'd already seen it. And so I kind of also
I mean, like I said, I don't think we like overall are saying that this like what's it called, this service or these announcements were like the out of the ballpark kind of deal. I think this is the way I look at it is they're trying something different, and hopefully this stuff is going to gravitate to something a little bit bigger for that system, because the system definitely that system, like, Microsoft definitely needs to they need to do something a little different to show like the hype of the games that are coming. We know if you're a PC, like for instance, like the Microsoft pretty much antiquated their systems for me personally, because I have a PC, I have a gaming PC.
Right.
Yeah. But that's not like that for everybody. So I mean, most people now, it's like they have to get Game Pass to feel like it's justified to what they paid the $500 or $300 they did for the Series S or the Series X, but they don't know what is coming out. So I think this is what is needing to be done in the bigger picture. For you and me, I would totally agree. It was probably, I would say, underwhelming for the most part, but hey, it is what it is, so yeah,
I also feel too, and I feel like this is kind of gaming industry wide, but I really feel like they're kind of trying to temper people's expectations and actually be like, hey, let's be a little sensible here and not, because the last few years people have gotten nuts, man. People threatening people's families and things like that. It's like, whoa, guys, like, take it easy, man. Like, these are people.
Well, and we've talked about this too. Like, if you have expectations, you are guaranteed to be disappointed in one way or another. And at the end of the day, they are just games. These are people who work hard and work on them, and it's not always their fault. The direction is higher ups, and I think we're taking out, and I say we, it ain't me, I don't know who it is, Mr. Joe Blow on the internet. It is not me threatening these people's lives over a goddamn game. You need to get your priorities straight. That's that.
Yeah. No, this is a lot more sensible. And I like this too, because it goes a little more, it may not be the most exciting thing in its games that we knew were coming. But at least we got a little deeper in. We got to see that, hey man, we are coming along and moving forward. The big things for me, number one, they did a hot drop, which is always fun. I will always appreciate. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, the game's gonna be live in a couple hours. Go get it right meow. And so that was awesome. But then we got more dates on at least some of the games that we had anticipated and we can expect, and we have a better idea of in terms of now they're comfortable being like, all right, we have a date set. Does that mean it's set in stone? Hell to the nah. But
we know how that works.
Yeah, exactly. But at least we have a date. So again, and kind of like Lex is saying, I'm very much in there's not very many games that's like, dude, like I am sitting there chomping at the bit waiting for this game to come out, and then it gets pushed back and I'm flipping tables. Like, there's not many games I feel that I can't think of a single game that'll make me do that I get that excited about. So I think this is a solid move on their part. I look forward to them doing more of this kind of stuff. And then I'm also curious then when they're going to take, or how they're going to go about announcing the things that we don't know about quite yet, or any kind of new game announcements. Will those come for bigger shows? Will they do those during directs? We'll see. We'll see if that's a trend that they continue moving forward with. Overall, though, I thought it was solid. I thought they did a solid job with it. And it was nice to be able to get a little deep dive and see some of the stories that have gone behind the development and the teams that are working on this stuff.
Right. Well, all I got to say is Arcanas. But anyways, let's go through the. So let's go through the.
I hate it here.
Lex, what's your topic?
Yes. Speaking to Amber, I could only afford one system as a kid, and I went with PlayStation, so I never got to play the Zeldas. I missed out. But speaking
You really didn't.
That's what you think. You better quit before you get threatening letters.
Yeah, you have a Nintendo Switch. You can go back to it.
I do. I can. Absolutely. Now I can, because I'm a grown up and I can pay for things myself, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wanted to talk about this new Game Pass gem called Hi-Fi Rush, which Smitty so lovely introduced. If you guys don't know, I am also a musician. I sing, I dance, I do all of the things. No, not literally, but I am a musician. I play drums, guitar, bass, and I also sing. And so music, it kind of lives in my soul. And Dust found this game and had sent it over to me and said, I think you're really going to like this. When I first looked at it visually on Steam, again, I immediately thought Doc Limitless will love this game. This is up his wheelhouse. And if you don't know, I recently learned that I am colorblind, but not the traditional way. I don't see purples and blues like I'm supposed to, which then leads into me seeing reds as oranges sometimes and things like that. And so when I saw this, I thought, oh, I need to get my colorblind contacts or else I'm not going to enjoy this to its full potential. But I love games where the soundtrack is off the hook immediately from the get-go, and it's something that I can vibe and bop to the entire time I'm playing. Not only that, this game makes it so that when you're fighting, you are playing as you are the music. So you're playing to the beat to then fight the monster or the boss or whoever it is. You do also have a sidekick who is a kitty, and we all know I love kitty cats. So that already was a huge, absolutely, I will play this game. Even though it's not a horror, if it's music and it has a kitty, I'm down. Why not? You know, it's so cute. But it's interesting because I was looking at it, and during one of the boss fights that it shows an example of, you're hitting the beat on the triplet, which, in all honesty, I haven't seen a lot of games, not only that are musically inclined, make it so that if you are a musician, you go, oh, that's the triplet. Interesting. Where I've never really seen that to its full extent before. Like, yes, like, okay, every other, and then bang, I beat the boss. No. This is actual. From what it seems like from one musician to what it seems like another, is that you are playing it as if you were playing a piece of music, which I really appreciate. The movement, the sounds, again, the absolute, it's an absolute bop when it comes to the soundtrack. It is fantastic. I would listen to this on its own, not just in a game. It's absolutely amazing. I've loved it so far from what I've seen. I was hoping to start playing it this weekend, but I got Dead Space. And if you guys have been around on podcasts for the last couple of months, you know how I feel about Dead Space. Yeah. But someone gifted me Dead Space, and I'm going to play it because they gifted it to me. That was so sweet, funny. Even though I said I would absolutely not play it.
You know what's funny though? Like, it's kind of Inferno 746 said inside the chat, just like everyone else can, that suggests that you would like Rhythm Doctor. And
I do like Rhythm Doctor.
Yeah, I was like,
I have it
because that stuff is crazy. But but like to say like rhythm based games like really kind of have I've always kind of it had a stereotypical kind of tone to it, like because I played Crypt of the Necrodancer, remember that one and stuff. But I think this game kind of broke the mold of that common look, because this looks
even
like
Beat Saber. It's not to the music, it's to the game, and then the music is secondary, where this was the music is first, the game is secondary, which I appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, even with Beat Saber, some of the beats don't make sense when you get up to those harder levels. And Adam has watched me play Beat Saber in his office because I can't play it in mine. I'll hit an animal.
I'm actually worried that you should even be playing Beat Saber at all, because I've seen your videos when you're on the VR.
Rude.
I have a trash can.
Okay, look here, listen. Things have gotten better, and I'm in a corner in his office. I can't hurt myself, and it's not a horror game where I'm being chased, and I go to book it, and I fall into the wall into a trash can. Okay. But I agree. Like, even games like Beat Saber, the beat is second, especially when you get into the higher difficulties, where they're kind of like, well, you're already doing the beat. What else can you do? Why don't you add a double bass on top of that? You know? And instead of that, they make it just so that the game is more difficult. But this is different. They've put the game for the music first, the game secondary, but they've meshed them in such a way that, like you said, it is breaking the mold. And I think for musicians who are also gamers, this is a new territory that I think we're all really going to enjoy. You know what I mean?
How far in have you been playing?
I haven't
this game so far.
I haven't. Oh. All I've done is watch.
Oh, okay. Oh, so Adam's been playing it?
He sent it to me. He sent it to me as a, hey, I think you would really enjoy this. I know it's not horror, but take a look. And I did, and I thought that he was going to gift it to me this weekend. Instead, he gifted me Dead Space, which is fine. I'm not mad.
Don't you have Game Pass?
I do, and I'm gonna download it. He forgets I have Game Pass sometimes too, so I'm going to get it. I'm gonna play it on Game Pass, because if you already have Game Pass, this is a gem, and you should absolutely play this. It's free. Why not? And it's actually good. You know?
I feel like you're passively throwing him under the bus every time you see Dead Space. That's so funny to me.
Oh, I am. I went to zoom in on my face, because as I said previously, and what was that, Davis?
What?
What did I say previously?
Oh, that you never wanted to play that. You never wanted to play Dead Space. Like, you said you didn't like the sci-fi horror.
Right. Thank you.
He does a lot. He tolerates a lot. That's all I got to say.
Poor Gus.
Sweet, what do you think?
Shut up.
So you guys are probably gonna hate me. But the reason I keep saying I think Doc and somebody else would like this is because these games are not up my alley. I don't think. I've never particularly played, and I do. I love Beat Saber. I love stuff like that. But I've never played an action rhythm game. And it seems, just from what I've watched, because I'm pretty sure Doc played Rhythm Doctor as well, and I watched him play it, and that game made me want to uppercut everything into oblivion. I was like, I don't know how one would have the patience. Because, dude, I don't like frustrating things, and I especially don't like frustrating things in my video games. And like, rhythm games like this seem like they would be really frustrating. You get to a part that you just like the beat gets crazy or something like that, and that's where it'll end for me. I'll just never pick up the game again.
Here's a question. How it ends. Here's a serious question though. Like, have you ever played like Prapper the Rapper or Bust the Groove? No. Any of those back in the day?
No.
Oh man, Rock Band, Guitar Hero.
Yes, I play those. Those are different though. Those are very different to me, as opposed to
they are different.
You're telling me that I have an action game that I have to, not only do I have to kill things and stuff like that, but I also have to hit the beats and whatnot.
Well,
like that seems like that would piss me off.
Here's how I feel that it's different. With this game, the music's already so good, you're already tapping your foot, right? Your foot's already to the beat as it is. It's second nature now that your hand follows along, right? Or even if you're not a drummer, your foot is doing the bass and your hand is doing the snare, right? And imagine that is now what you are using to fight with. It's you're already doing it, you just now have to put it into action. Whereas I feel that past games that were trying to achieve this didn't quite hit the nail on the head, and this one does. And I don't.
Are you rhythmically inclined, Smitty? Like,
of course,
do you have
yeah.
rhythm?
Yes, he is. Absolutely.
Dude, I play multiple instruments. I play multiple instruments.
I understand that, but is this that the amount of hatred that you have for these kind of games?
It's nothing against it. I think it looks great. The art style of it looked great, dude. Like everything about it, dude. Like I instantly was like, oh, dude, I got to tell people about this. People are gonna love this. Me personally, I feel like, especially with a game like that, I feel like I would get to a point that would frustrate me. And I don't like being that frustrated like that, especially when playing a video game. That's not why I play video games.
I get it. Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, and that's why there's different levels that you can always turn on, you know?
Yeah,
start out with story mode and then go to normal and then hard if you feel like maybe, that wasn't hard enough. Let me try a different level. You know what I mean?
I understand your level of frustration of what your possibility is, but you're like making it like it sounds like it's a non-starter for you, period, because you're saying that eventually the game is going to get to a point where it's going to be too much for you, but you really don't know that. It's like until you're right. Actually,
and I'll try it.
There,
I will try it. That's why it being on Game Pass, I think is absolutely fantastic, because then at least I can try it for free, and I don't have to worry about, I spent this money and I am probably not ever going to play this game again.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I watched the videos on Steam, and then I turned around and watched some people that were playing it. A few who said they were not rhythmically inclined, and others that absolutely were. They were drummers, they were bassists. And Aslan!
You know we're recording.
I know. Right? There's a baby. Pardon me. I watched both, and I felt that both of them were able to play to their strengths. And I don't think that the game, you know what's funny is when I first saw it, I was like, there's a lot of talking and not enough rhythm. But I so far from what I have seen, I don't want to spoil it for myself. I really do enjoy the storyline. I think it's great for a non-horror game that's also rhythmic. I'm really digging it so far. So yeah, that's my story, and I was just curious what your boys thought. And
unfortunately, the only way that I would play it is someone has to gift it to me, because I don't have Xbox Game Pass, and it looks like a good game. I've seen a lot of streams of it as of late, and I was looking at people inside the chat. That some people have already seen people played it before. It looks pretty solid. But like for me to personally say it, I don't think it's something that I'm going to play unless I get it myself. Unless I buy it myself, which I don't even know how much is it. Like $30 if you wanted to purchase it.
Yeah, it's only 30. Which
is it really $30?
Yeah, it's only $30. Yeah.
Yeah. So like, unfortunately, like that.
For what it is, that's pretty cheap. I think
for what it is, I think it's a great price. It is.
Yeah.
Well, $6 games for me, it's so hard to tell. You know what really pisses me off though, like especially when because when I saw Forspoken, and it was really hard for me to kind of keep like I'm pretty good with I'm pretty good with embargoes. I'm very good with embargoes actually. But like Forspoken just straight up pissed me off, and like on what they were trying to do with it, and it was annoying to say to wait until Tuesday for it, and I'm like, man, you may want to wait.
You know what?
On this game,
funny. You know? I play a game. I play a game called not Forspoken. And Smitty always gets confused. He's like, "Is it
every time
Forsake?"
Yeah.
I'm like,
Forsaken. I think I said Forsaken.
Yeah, and I was like, "It's no Forsake." You were right the first time.
Yeah.
I get it. And hey, look, normally I would also be in the same boat as you, Davis. Like if someone gifted to me, I would play it. But I've watched a little more than I probably should have. I gave some of it away for myself. And I saw that kitty and I thought, there's no way I'm not playing this. There's a cat and it's rhythmic. I'm in. I'm done.
Yeah.
Take my money. Bye.
Cat sells you games, hence Stray.
Every time.
Yeah. I know you. I know you would choose cat any day of the week. So.
Every day.
Definitely. So no, okay, well that's cool. I mean, like, no, I if the opportunity comes, I'll definitely do it. Like Trinetta says, it came out at a bad time for me. I'm too busy playing Forspoken, and it's like, yeah. So there you go. It's like,
I get it.
But hey, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't play it now, that it's dead in the water later on.
Right.
It's just gonna take some time for you to eventually get to it. So
I get it.
Yeah. So like, yeah. So we'll go with that. Okay, so my topic, I am the last topic here for the day. We're going to kind of get like with some kind of crazy stuff here with as you know, with the whole craziness that happened with Justin Roiland, who is the voice and the co-creator of Rick and Morty. Just recently they just announced that he that Adult Swim just has fired him for obvious reasons, because he's facing felony domestic violence charges from an event that happened in 2020 to now. He also stepped down, like, to his own volition. He stepped down for from his own game studio, Squanch Games. That's the people who did High on Life. And unfortunately, like, and I mean, not really unfortunate, because I mean, dude, if he's I'm going to keep it as neutral as I possibly can until whatever happens at the trial and stuff. But to be honest with you, like this is the move that they need to do with Justin Roiland. Like, he cannot be, like, there's no way that this dude should be getting a job, should have a job, especially for for shows that he's been doing, for games that he's been playing for, until everything goes through with the court proceedings and stuff. Because I mean, like, we don't know the scenario of the domestic violence charges, but he is definitely toxic like right now from it. So right now, Squanch Games did an announcement on their Instagram and their Twitter, saying that on January 16th, Squanch Games received Justin Roiland's resignation. The passionate team of Squanch Games will keep developing games from games we know our fans will love, while continuing on support and improve High on Life with Squanch Games. So obviously, this is a definite thing that needed to be done. There's no way that they would have been taken respectable with this day and age of, like, with these serious accusations that are on him. So yeah, pretty much. I mean, they're doing what needs to be done. But the real question is, it's like, we've seen crazy stuff like this happen before. Like, they've gone through the steps of this, everything's been, they go through the right process, and then let's say not guilty or whatever, and then it's not like it's not like a situation where he's going to come back, or now he has to go by the court of public opinion about himself, like through all of this, and the build up. So I guess the big thing is, it's like excuse me, like, what's going to what's going to happen between, like, with Squanch Games, Adult Swim, and all that different kinds of things in the meantime. Especially, I guess the big one is Rick and Morty, Rick and Morty. But yeah, so I just want to get your take about all of this, because this is very disappointing. I met Justin Roiland once, and I mean, like, maybe it's because I think it was just because of the press junket it was over in San Diego or whatever, but it was just like, but it wasn't like, it was okay.
Right.
I don't want to, like I said, I'm not judging anything until I get the full information on this. And I'm not going to ridicule anybody until he's proven guilty or innocent, or proven guilty, or anything on it. So I'm staying as neutral as I possibly can be. But what do you think, Smitty?
I mean, clearly it's crazy too to think that this is something that has been in the works for the last 3 years, or which is crazy that only now it is being brought to light. Which, I mean, that in itself is problematic. But yeah, I mean, the companies did the moves that, that's what they're going to do, is cut ties and wait to see how things flesh out. Clearly, this is not I mean, this stuff seems pretty, like, he is being charged with this stuff. So to be charged, there's evidence that this stuff has gone down. Yeah.
it's not an accusation. It is he has been charged through the court, which is a lot different than what you normally do here, which is very interesting to me. But I think the bigger thing is like you were saying earlier, it's like, dude, they've had this looming on him since 2020. I can understand with Rick and Morty, because Rick and Morty is on their season, I believe they're on season 7 for Rick and Morty. So this happened 6 or 7, yeah, whatever. Yeah, so he did this before all that happened. Like that was initially that happened, but he's gotten more and more opportunities, more and more success for other things and stuff. And you're telling me that nobody, no company, none of them said, you know what, let's do a background check. I mean, a simple background check would say something on this, because you got arrested. He got arrested for it. I don't even understand about it. Towards something like this, to say like what's going on, what's going on through all of this. But I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
Hold on there for a sec, because if they were doing a background check, they would do that at the beginning of his employment, not in the middle to end, right?
Right.
So. Right. To say that they knew about it, maybe yes, maybe no, maybe they didn't know to the extent of what it was, right? Maybe they heard through the grapevine him venting to another coworker about what was going on. And then, unless it becomes an HR issue, they're not really going to look into it. And I think the
Cartoon Network, no, but I'm talking about all the other opportunities that he's had from 2020 and on. Because he lost a show. He lost another show that happened that wasn't even officially out yet, and stuff for instance, the Hulu thing that he did with Solar Opposites.
Yeah,
that's gone. Yeah, Solar Opposites was also Justin Roiland
about it.
Yeah, it's a Justin Roiland show that was specifically exclusive to Hulu, and this is something that happened well beyond 2020. And this is something that's that could have been something that could have been a simple factor to take a look behind the guy, for it. Especially, and I don't want to be a dick about it, but especially the fact that Dan Harmon got busted for this kind of stuff not that long ago either, because of with Community and stuff about what he was fortunate enough that he didn't get fully canceled, but he does have something looming over his head towards all of this. Right. So I'm just saying that it's just kind of weird.
I get it, but you also have to remember that not every company does a background check on every single person that they hire. Like, logistics wise, that's so much money out of their pocket. They wouldn't physically be able to do that and stay afloat before they're even hired. You know what I mean? Not to say that, boo on them. It is what it is. He did what he did, and it is not appropriate, nor is it okay. And it's interesting because, and I think I told you guys last week, I had seen a video made from a YouTuber that I watch, and I thought, maybe this is an old video. This is what? And he was talking about how Justin Roiland basically is ending his career in real time. And I was like, what is happening? Like, this has to be an old video. And I brought it up to my fiance, and he goes, yeah, that doesn't seem accurate. And I said, maybe it's not, because if you don't know about it, then it's probably not happening. And then, not kidding, 24 hours later, the news broke. I was like, so it is real. He was not only what he's being accused of, but on top of that, he is also being accused of talking to underage women. They're not women, they're girls, underage girls, and trying to hook up with them. And we didn't know he was a scumbag. And I think,
but we got to wait till like I said, we can't really straight up say anything about that to the level until there's more information on that. That's what I'm saying.
Like, information's been out there, but it wasn't.
I'm not saying. I'm not saying, like, you can't say that he's a groomer or any of that stuff.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said he was talking to underage girls and was trying to actively hook up with them, but. You
may not say groomer, but you're essentially giving the archetype to him.
Yeah, I saw I've seen the proof of it.
I saw the text messages and stuff.
Yeah.
And they were shown to
but
not
yes,
allegedly. Thank you. That's what I'm saying.
It's allegedly.
Yes.
Allegedly.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and he had come out previously and stated that his relationship ended badly. He wished that it hadn't, and things were had gone out of hand. That is, as far as I know, the only statement that he had made, except for his lawyer. Of course, his lawyers come out with a statement that he had made. And, does that at face value make sense? Sure. But then when you look at the charges themselves, it's like, okay, wait, what? Wait a minute. You can't really charge someone with all of that without having evidence. And look, the court of public opinion is one thing and the facts are another. There's always three sides to a story. Theirs, hers, and the truth, right? But I say better to take out the dirty laundry now than to wait for it, because I know, and they're not even famous. I know 5 people right now who can consistently and without any effort do Rick and Morty as a voice. That's not to say that famous voice actors can't easily do Rick and Morty. I think that this gives more people more jobs, because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he voices 27 characters. So now you're possibly hiring a lot of new people who are fresh faces, who are happy and willing to go out there and do the work and do the effort and do a kick-ass job. Just because he's gone doesn't mean that the actual show itself is going to end. It's not the end all be all. I can do Harley Quinn. I can do 90s Harley Quinn. I can do Harley Quinn now.
I don't think that's the problem. Because,
you know what I mean?
I think well,
there's some people that are upset about that.
Like, it's just that 7 seasons of it. What I think, because like what Inferno's saying is like, I think Dan can do just fine with the creative part, but there's a dude on TikTok that's a dead-on copy. Yeah, I don't think that he could definitely be replaced. And a person like Dan Harmon, who's very creatively, is very creative on his with his stuff. I could easily see it not being an issue. But I guess the biggest thing is, I guess we won't, because the reason why they're even doing this is because Adult Swim has already paid for 10 seasons of Rick and Morty. I don't know if, and I think
they can't legally back up that contract.
Yeah, I think they're at 7 right now, and I think after 10, I think it's it. That's it. They're not going to make any more further, in my opinion. I don't remember.
It'll probably end after that. Would be my guess.
That's not necessarily the case. They're going to.
I'm not saying that's Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that how everything is going with this, and then they won't want to have this crazy reminder, because then again, it's like the level of how long he's been even a part and contributed to it. And then let alone, this is saying if everything goes good on his side, it could be that it may go on, it may not. But if it doesn't, man, there's no way. I just don't see them wanting to do something like that.
Let me ask you guys the reverse side of this. So, what if he goes through the legal process and he's found innocent? What then happens? The career's basically over, right? Regardless. At this point in time, or do they go back and say, "Oh, you're good now. Never mind. Sorry about that. Come on back."
I don't think that they would. I think the damage has been done with Rick and Morty and all the other stuff, but future endeavors, possibility to come back on something in the future. That's the way I could look at it, because there's no way that they're going to come back. Maybe the only thing he may be able to come back to is Squanch Games, because he did create that studio. But I don't know. I don't know where it's going to come. If Rick and Morty is there when it comes out during that time, there's no way he's going to come back to that stuff. No way.
Again, you have to charge somebody. There has to be not just circumstantial evidence. There has to be evidence that is beyond a reasonable doubt, right? And I think that unless he can literally show video proof that exonerates him in every single way, it's not.
Come on,
Lex.
You're forgetting
OJ, Casey Anthony.
OJ killed her.
Yo, those were open and shut cases, Johnson.
Wait a minute. OJ, absolutely.
No, we're not getting into that. I'm just saying this. I am just saying this. You're forgetting the factor of one big thing is that, dude, if this person has money and he gets the best lawyer in the world, it does not freaking matter. It doesn't at that point.
That's not what I'm saying. That is not what I said at all.
Uh-huh.
He can be found false, or he can be found, he can be found not guilty, or he can be found guilty and show a video that shows that he is absolutely did none of those things. And only then do I think that he would be exonerated. Now, that doesn't mean that he, in the court of law, what I'm saying is that does not negate what happens there, right? I think if he can show proof that that didn't happen elsewhere, regardless of his lawyer in the court of law, okay? Now, I think the damage is done. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? The damage is done. I don't see any way out, really, again, unless he has video proof proving without a doubt, a shadow of a doubt, that he did not commit any crime. It's over. I think, could he rebuild his career in that case? Sure, absolutely. If he didn't do it, then what's to say that you can't push forward and make new beginnings out of a sour end, right? But I think what I've seen on the interwebs is a lot of issue with, well, he's the voice of Rick and Morty, so there's no way that it can go on without him. I disagree. I know JTZ can do both voices effortlessly, and he's not a professional voice actor. Absolutely.
I mean, that's not, but I don't think, like, I really don't, personally, I kind of really don't care about, like, if who's going to be doing it, because we know what's going to happen. They've already decided to do it, so they obviously have a plan on it, letting it go, letting the show ride while he's not a part of the show. So I don't really care about that.
If your question is, did he do it? Most likely. I mean, I'm 99.9% that he's going to be convicted. That's not the question.
Oh,
okay,
no.
then what's your question?
I'm just saying,
allegedly.
We weren't. He was just saying.
I was gone. I was in the restroom, so
we weren't even asking about, like, if he did or if he didn't. I'm just saying, we were just saying specifically, like I mean, because, like, now it's just the statement of saying, like, he's going to have to fight now the court of public opinion, and I think and that's going to be an uphill battle towards him. And the case in the case, if he is proven innocent from these charges, if he's able to come back, and then we were just saying that we weren't that I personally don't see that he's going to come back.
I don't think so.
I think he absolutely could. There's other people. Yeah, there's. I mean, dude, throughout time, people love a great comeback story, right? Especially, and this only happens if he's found not guilty. If he's found guilty, it's completely a wrap. Whether he is legitimately guilty or not, I'm not even speaking on that. I'm just saying from a point of public opinion. The only chance that he would have is the fact being found innocent, regardless of the, whether there's overwhelming evidence against it or not. That's the only way that he'd be able to do it. What I've seen, especially in this space, is that time after time, people, they'll start forgetting. They'll, what I mean? He could easily be able to come back. Look at, and again, I am very much but
not just even that. I mean, you have to remember too, like, people are going to be diehard fans regardless of what comes out about them. 100%. They don't care. They don't care. To them, it means absolutely nothing. And so those fans plus time equals a new career. Always.
I mean, like, well, yeah, it's just really sucks. Well, what you're saying here, domestic abuse is a huge issue in this country and should be taken way more seriously. If he makes a comeback, it's an insult to anyone who suffers from that, and it shouldn't be rewarded. We're saying, well, first off, Shana, I totally 100% agree with you. Yeah. We're just saying that there's going to be a scenario, and I'm sure you definitely understand too, that there could be a scenario where you, like, I will not be surprised because this happens all the time. The case has been dropped. And then so what does that mean essentially? Does that necessarily mean that he is, like, has he been specifically did he do it? No. Did he not do it? No, it doesn't mean nothing. Any of that. That means absolutely nothing. Exactly. And then the problem is that, like, because of that, he could, I'm sorry, Smitty, but give me a minute.
No, you're good. You're good.
But yeah, because of that would be the end for him to still not be, like, typecasted, or typecasted or, like, blacklisted from the industry. It's like, oh, he didn't do anything. The case was dropped. I mean, so, like, or whatever, so, like, I mean, we can give him a chance. We'll give him the $30 million for the next video game project that he wants to do. May not be right, but that's what's going to happen. That's what could happen. Smitty, what were you going to say?
Yeah, we literally watched Dana White slap his wife twice on camera. The man has not been charged with anything. He has not stepped away from the UFC, and this is the same person that has preached from the podium about you're not a man if you hit a woman at any point in time. We watched that man slap his wife twice in the face. Video evidence has not been charged with shit.
Yeah.
Not just that, but
it's frustrating.
Deputy Amber Heard, it was proven that she lied. And there was video evidence. There was a track record of her BS. Okay. Now, there was no evidence that he ever did anything except yell back at her in regards to conversations that they had. She was trying to get him. And that's that. He was never charged with anything from the police. They could never charge him with anything. Why? Because he didn't actually do anything. So Johnny Depp, he never touched Amber Heard.
Right.
Yeah.
She literally severed his finger by throwing a glass bottle at him. And
I mean, it's a mess, and it's such a slippery slope on with this. Like, it sucks because like there's the fact that there's the victim, which there's obviously a victim, and there's obviously all sides on this, and it's just a giant mess. But yeah, the overall thing that just really pisses me off is the fact that like, dude, this happened back in 2020, and then you had 3 years of like, of an uphill stride.
But there's but they don't know that they don't know though. We don't know that they knew that this was going on.
Right.
Yes, this happened in 2020, but they may not have brought charges upon him up until recently. And again, we don't know that either because we don't have the police records. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I know from working at the TV station, if you slip up and that stuff is out there and that is out there, more times than not, you are done. It's a wrap. They will fire you. If you're on air, it could affect you also if you're behind the scenes as well, but definitely for a fact, if you are on air, there's times that things had not even been proven, or they're still going through the process and you're done. Yeah. It's a wrap. They're not even gonna deal with it. So it's hard to look at, you know what I mean, the networks and things like that. They made it as soon as that stuff came out. They said we're done. They made it, and I know that people were kind of looking at Hulu like, hey, we're waiting on you, Hulu, because Adult Swim was on top of it. In terms of that, Squanch Games on top of it. Distance immediately, and he went and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. But yeah, this is just it's you just gotta. I mean, it's so disappointing. There's so many people out there and that have these platforms, that have these opportunities, but there's so many just disgusting people out there.
Oh yeah, and it.
Go ahead.
Pulls this bad behavior. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's like these beautifully talented people, and I say beautifully, I mean, as in like their art form is fantastic. It's wonderful to watch them do it, and then they turn out to be absolute shite as human beings. It sucks, man, because you would really hope that like someone who seems so genuinely good and talented at what they do would be that as a human being in real life, and then to find out that no, they're not. They're awful people. Sometimes it surprises you and sometimes it doesn't. And with this, did I get a creepy vibe from Justin Roiland? No, but had I seen, him in person ever? Absolutely not. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know man.
I guess the matter of this, we just got to see, because I mean, essentially, it's just going to be it's pretty much what's going to be like Trinetta also says, it takes forever for the law to get real when someone's reporting that, and that's even if the law is if the law puts an emphasis on what did happen. So like, there's like that one that you do see that's like that everyone's talking about, like this one, there's probably thousands that are not. So like so we'll hopefully we'll see where this is going to go. Like I said, I just said it's a good move for Squanch Games. I'm glad that they did what they needed to do. Adult Swim, same thing, as well as like what they need to do to they don't want to get they definitely don't want to affiliate themselves until this goes to the next level. But then after that, then it's going to be the court of public opinion if everything goes out of the way of like saying, oh, the case was dropped or dismissed, it wasn't enough, because like this what's going to happen. I mean, I feel like with people like at this level is gonna be like, oh, there just wasn't enough evidence or there wasn't enough information for us to convict, or we don't want to go through the process of all this stupid stuff. It's just so stupid. So I'm sorry to hear, dude, but we'll see. Sorry to kind of bum this out.
I know, way to bum us out at the end of the show. I know,
right? I need more wine. Folks, thank you for listening to episode number 161 of the CFG Gamecast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. As always, we will be back again next week with some brand new set of topics with you all. But in the meantime, if you did miss out on this episode, that is perfectly okay. We release it on all podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio at the beginning of each and every week. So there's absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices. Ooh. Yes, and also be sure to go check out our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com. We just released a new awesome podcast episode of Pop Culture Gems with the awesome voice actor Morgan Berry. So definitely stay tuned. Check in on that. It was a really good interview. We were talking about Voltron and everything. I loved it. It was cool. So guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.